Okay, so we're going to go over the practice quiz, and feel free to fast forward through the practice, the answer key, so that you can just get the ones that you got wrong explained. Okay, so here we go. When you multiply the coefficients, 2 times 3, and then you add the exponents. Keep the base, add the exponents. So you should have gotten 6x to the 11th. All right, number 2, same thing. You want to multiply the coefficients, you get 42, and then add the exponents, and you get -5. However, it says positive exponents only. Remember, x to the -5 is the same as 1 over x to the +5, so the final answer is 42 over x to the 5th. Number 3. Okay, we know that an exponent only goes with what comes directly in front of it. So that means the x to the 0 is equal to 1, and 7 times 1 is 7. All right, now we want to make sure in this one, power to a power, you multiply the exponents, but you have to bring each of these pieces inside the parentheses to the second power. So that's 3 squared, x squared, and then y cubed squared, which is y to the 6th. So the answer is 9x squared y to the 6th. Okay, completely simplify. So I'm going to do this in pieces. First, I'm going to simplify -14 over 7, and I get a -2. And then when I simplify the a's, I have a to the -1. And then simplifying the c's, I have 6. When I subtract, I get 6. Now, we have to represent in positive exponents. So the -2 and the c to the 6th stay on the top, but the a goes on the bottom. Be careful that you didn't bring that -2 down. Okay, that -1 only goes with the a. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing again. When we divide, the 3 and the 4 stay where they are. When we subtract -6 minus a -13, we get m to the 7th. Here we subtract -3 minus -1, and we get n to the -2. We're going to go ahead and then bring that down below, and we get 3m to the 7th over 4n squared. Okay, now we have a fraction to a negative exponent. Now that negative exponent, remember, means that we have to take the reciprocal and bring it to the positive exponent. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that reciprocal and then bring it to the 4th power. Now I'm going to bring this to everything, remember, and I get x to the 4th on top, -3 in parentheses to the 4th power would be a positive 81. All right, and then w to the 3rd to the 4th, power to a power you multiply, so we would get w to the 12th, and then that would be our answer. Okay, convert to exponential form. Remember, power over root. Okay, so this is the power, or the exponent, and this is the root, root 3. So the 6 is not affected by any of this, but then the power over root 3. And that's the final answer. Converting to radical form, we're going to remember the same thing. This is the power, and this is the root. So the 8 is not affected by the fractional exponent at all. So the 8 stays on the outside, and then it's root 3a to the 2nd power. And that too can go on the inside or the outside of the radical. Okay, here we're looking for which of the following can represent the equation. So I just want to note that this is the y-intercept, which is somewhere between 0 and 5, and it's exponential because it's a curve, and it's decay because it's going down. So as we look through, we see that these are the only two options that have decay because our b values are less than 1. If you go down, these are greater than 1, okay, and it's less than 5, so the y-intercept and the a value represents that, so the answer has to be option 2. Okay, now the water level in a draining reservoir is changing such that the depth of the water is decreasing. Okay, so that means it's decay, and it's decreasing by 7.5% an hour. So the rate is equal to 0.075, but we're decreasing, so our b value is going to be 1 minus 0.075, which is equal to 0.925. So this is our b value, and if it's starting at a depth of 45 feet, that is our a value. Okay, so that would be this answer here. Okay, remember, whenever you want to find the y-intercept, you have to set x equal to 0. So 5, 2 to the 0, plus 7. 2 to the 0 is just equal to 1. So 5 times 1 plus 7 is 12. Okay, a liquid is cooling such that its temperature can be modeled by this function. All right, the output is the Fahrenheit temperature after m minutes that it's been cooling, and we want to find out when it is closest, how long it takes to get close to 90 degrees. Okay, so if we were figuring this out algebraically, we would have 90 equals, and then this. And we are going to learn how to do this shortly, algebraically. But graphically, we can already do this. We can set one of these equal to y1, the other to y2, and we can go ahead and find the intersection point. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go into y equals, and I'm going to put in 112, and then second division is the e raised to the negative 0.058 x plus 64, and y2 equals 90. Now we have to be careful. We need to find the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept would be the 112 plus 64. So I need to change my window, and I'm going to go up to, let's see, 200. Oops. Okay, so my highest y value is 200. I know that's a little more than 112 plus 64, so I can see the top of the graph. I don't know how long it's going to take. However, my my choices go up to 42 minutes. So I'm going to take my x values and bring it to 45 minutes so I can see no matter what the answer is. Okay, so second, trace, intersect, and then enter, 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 and I get the x value, or the number of minutes, is equal to 25. All right, now here you have an exponential function, and you have two coordinates here. Remember, f of 5 equals 15 is just 515. F of 8 equals 170 is just 8 170. So we have 2 points, and we're trying to find our b value. And I'm going to do this algebraically, even though we learned how to do it both ways, graphically and algebraically. Okay, so we know that y equals ab to the x power is our exponential function form. All right, so we have this is my x and my y, and this is also my x and my y. So I'm going to set up my system of equations. So here I know that 170 is equal to a times b to the 8th power. When I do this equation, I get 15 equals ab to the 5th power. Now remember, I want to divide. When I divide that, right, I get 170 divided by 15, and I get 11.3 repeating. My a's cancel out, and I get b to the 3rd. Now when I take the cubed root of both sides, let's see, I'm going to clear this, get out of it. Okay, so I have 170 divided by 15. And now I want to take the cubed root of that. That's in the math key, option 4. And then I'm going to copy and paste that full answer. And I get 2.246, which would be 2.25. That is my B value. Now, just in case you're wondering, if you want to keep track of this, B is equal to 2.25. In order to find my A value, I would just plop that back in to one of these equations and then solve for A. Okay, this is done the same way. I'm going to go ahead and put this into Stat, Edit, and I'm going to go ahead and clear these out. And then I'm going to put in my X values, 2, 5, 7, 10, and 15. And then in my Y values, 71, 102, 130, 187, and 341. And then Stat, Calc, and then I'm going to scroll down to Exponential Regression, go down to Calculate, and I see that my B value is equal to 1.13. All right. Solve for x. All right, when I solve for x, since the bases are the same here, that means the exponents have to be equal to each other. So 3x minus 7 equals 2. Add 7 to both sides. I get 3x equals 9. Divide by 3, and I get x is equal to 3. Okay, now here, I don't have common bases. I have to rewrite these using common bases. So my 9, I'm going to rewrite as 3 squared, and then I still have my exponent. 27 is 3 cubed, and I still have that exponent. Now I'm going to distribute, so I have 3 to the 16 minus 2x on this side, and I have 3 to the 3x minus 9 on this side. Now they're common bases, so I can take those exponents and I can set them equal to each other. So 16 minus 2x equals 3x minus 9. Add 2x, add 9, and I get 25 equals 5x. Divide by 5, and I get x is equal to 5. Okay, solve for x in terms of a. Now, this is not, this is a little bit more challenging because you're not getting a value for x, you're getting an expression for x. That includes a, but we're going to go ahead and do it the same way. I want to find a common base between 8 and 1/2. Now, 1 over 2 is the same as 2 to the negative 1. Okay, and then 8 is the same as 2 cubed. So I can go ahead and use 2 as my common base. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply and set the exponents equal to each other. Add 6a to both sides, and I get 3x equals a. Divide both sides by 3, and I get x is equal to a over 3, or 1/3 a. All right, and now we go to compound interest. I'm investing $850. Okay, that's my principal amount. And it earns 2.6% interest compounded quarterly. That's that compounded word. Quarterly means that I need to use the formula A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. All right, my P is going to be 850. My R is 2.6%, which is equal to 0.026. Compounded quarterly, the N represents the number of times per year. There's 4 quarters in a year. And after 5 years, T is the number of years, so that's 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in my calculator. Okay. $850 times 1 plus alpha y equals 0.026. Oh, goodness. Over 4 raised to the 4 times 5. And I get $967.60. All right, one more question. Brandon deposits $200 into a bank account. Okay, so that's our principal amount. And it gains 3.5% interest. There's that compounded word, but this time it's compounded continuously. That means we have to use PERT. A equals PE to the RT. Remember, E is just a constant. It's on our calculator. It's equivalent to 2.718, blah, 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 blah. It's an irrational number. Goes on forever, non-repeating. Okay, so here my P is going to be equal to 200. My R is equal to 3.5%, which equals 0.035 in decimal form. And then my T is going to be equal to 7 for 7 years. So 200 times E raised to the 0.035 times 7. So 200. And remember, second division is our E raised to the 0.035 times 7. And I get $255.52. And there you have it. If you have any questions, talk to your teacher before the quiz.